Starscream Kills presents in a Geeky Guy production.
Hello there. Previously I brought you the Vamp It Up deck series where I talked about my MBV or Mono Black Vampire deck. And if you'll notice in that series, though it was a bit long, and I thank you for hanging in there if you did, I did talk about a sideboard. And you may notice with the Unstable Terrain deck, so far to date there hasn't been any sideboard conversations, and there's a reason for that. Unlike the MBV deck, the Unstable Terrain deck has a number of complications.
While the new Zendikar format is largely responsible for making a deck like Unstable Terrain exist even in the first place, I mean, after all, Domain was not quite the mechanic that Landfall is. Still, it also has brought along with it some unwelcome surprises and developments that Unstable Terrain has some difficulty dealing with. Namely, falling into three types of categories that I can think of, based around three particular types of decks. First, Unstable Terrain is vulnerable now to mill. Mill has become quite a live option. And mill causes a particular problem because Unstable Terrain goes and dips into its library with the fetch lanes, the rampant growths, and the harrows. Also, there is the extremely powerful boost that red has gotten through the Zendikar block. There's the Verkut Mountains with its, every time they have 5 or more mountains and they do a land drop, they cause 3 points of damage to a player or a creature. There's Elemental Appeal for 4 red mana. You get a 7/1 Trampling Haste Elemental, sacrifice it end of turn. You also have Zendikar, Zektar, Shrine Expedition. So there's a lot of really powerful things and tools that red has gotten that if Unstable Terrain cannot stall and gum up their game long enough, hasting creatures, a goblin deck of everything of haste, so a Goblin Raiders deck can be pretty dangerous, and it can splash an Elemental Appeal and so forth. That can be a problem. Another piece is also the White has gotten a lot of boosts. There has, not only through the classics of Oblivion Ring and Path and so forth, now there's Journey to Nowhere. There's Solemn Offering has come into its own with its ability to take out enchantments, so all of a sudden now a much welcome life boost. So these are the kinds of things that are problematic, and also a really awesome one-drop instant card called Brave the Elements, which can undo a really powerful well-meaning attack. attack someone with all kinds of beast tokens and scut mobs, but one Brave the Elements and it's all undone. So the point is that the sideboard for unstable terrain, it's going to require quite a bit more thought than MBV. They don't quite have that instant speed creature removal in the main board with unstable terrain. So these are things that need to be considered, plus all that protection versus green with Brave the Elements or blue. That can be kind of problematic. So anyway, these are concerns we have to look at and build the sideboard around tactics to sort of undo, mill, have some form of answer to red speed and the Goblin Raiders, for example, particularly, and also maybe something to do with white and how to get around some of those aspects as well, especially their ability to take out enchantments, because other than green's naturalize, white has the greatest toolkits to undo the enchantments that unstable terrain really enjoys. So let's look at some of those issues and some of the cards that our opponents have available to them to bring against us, and how we can best undo these strategies and those kinds of issues in this next segment. You did it again. Time is wasted and money just down the